in today's video, we're going to be going over learning to manage our anxiety versus completely defeating it. Unfortunately, completely defeating and eradicating anxiety is impossible. I know. I wish it was possible. I wish it wasn't invented. It's very stupid. But we have a lot of cool tools that we can use to manage it. And why is it important to manage our anxiety? We'll be getting into that too. So why is managing our anxiety important? Well, managing our anxiety is important because it affects those around us if we don't. And it's going to affect our mental health in the long term if we don't get a hold on it. Fortunately, we have a lot of tools to manage our anxiety. The quicker that we understand that anxiety is a normal thing and that we can't completely defeat it, the better things get for us. There comes a sense of community with knowing that it's a normal thing, that everybody deals with this. So what are some things we can do? Well, number one that I like to implement is challenging our thoughts. Challenging why we're having this thought, this anxiety that's coming up, this tightness you feel in your chest. I recently had someone message me that's a personal friend. I'm not going to mention them, but they're dealing with what I would call kind of an anxious attachment type disorder, or they struggle with anxious attachment, where they're messaging somebody, the person's not getting back to them in a few hours, and they immediately start spiraling. What did I say wrong? They're rereading the text. All these bad things are going through their head. So what I told them is the first thing you have to do is challenge those thoughts that come up. Oh my gosh, they don't like me. Is that really the truth? Or they got busy? We all have our own lives. They're at work. You're texting them while they're at work. They have other obligations other than you. You're not the sole purpose of their life. They have their own life, and that's okay. Because 9 times out of 10, they'll probably get back to you. And if they don't, then, it's not the person for you. Sometimes rationalizing our thoughts and challenging them out loud even can be super helpful. Say you go into a store and you're worried about, the shoes you're wearing, the outfit you have. Oh my God, people are going to make fun of me. In your own head, you can say, are people really going to make fun of me, or do they even care about me? Do they even give a rat's? Because everybody's worried about themselves. That's what I would, immediately start with is, when I go into the store, is anybody even really paying attention to me? Or are they worried about their own family, their kids, why their husband did this, or why their wife did this, or they just got in an argument with so-and-so? Like, they're not worried about you. So really, that's a simple, quick tip that I like to give to people, is just challenging your thoughts out loud, whether you're driving to work or whatever it is. Number 2 is grounding exercises. Now, grounding exercises, the idea of these is to get your thoughts off of your anxiety into the physical realm. It's almost a distraction. So this can really help if you're, borderline having a panic attack or an anxiety attack. You're at work, you're in your house, you're in the bathroom at work, you're driving, you just got an argument and you're in your car. You can really implement these things. So an easy grounding exercise that I like to do is name 5 things that you can see, 5 things you can touch, and 5 things you can smell. Or you can do 3 things that you can smell if you want, if you don't want to go around smelling 5 different things. But this can really help, especially if you're near a panic attack. You start to scramble out of control. You can go, okay, I can feel a desk, I can feel a computer, I can feel glasses, I can feel a t-shirt, I can feel the carpet in my toes, because I'm actually barefoot while I'm making this. I just have a shirt on and shorts. Next thing is reassuring yourself that you have the ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Most of you that are watching this, all of us, we've all dealt with something in our life, whether that's breakups, whether that's rough childhoods, whether that's losing friends, whether that's horrible days at work, or just horrible life instances, medical emergencies. You've been through all of that. So when it comes to anxiety, or you say little things that come up, is that going to defeat you? The boss yells at you. It's okay to reassure yourself and give yourself some compassion, and actually, put yourself on a pedestal in a way like, you know what? I can handle this. I've been through more than this. This is not going to break me. And sometimes that can really help with day-to-day things that are pretty minor. Now, obviously, when you get into things like breakups and family death and that kind of thing, you have to go through a healing process, and you have to give yourself a lot of compassion. But with day-to-day things, say you're stressed about, I've been going back to this example about going into the store, because that's when sometimes I get a lot of anxiety. It's just like, you know what? Who really gives a shit, right? Like, we're all going in here, we're all worried. Who cares? Next thing is moving your body. Get out and move. Go on a walk in nature, exercise, go lift some weights, go to yoga, whatever you like to do, Pilates, stare at the ground. I don't know, go to the turtle races, whatever floats your boat. Anxiety loves nothing more than when we're stagnant, when we're sitting around in these four walls. You start to feel like the world, there's nothing out there. You're just alone in your house, like this office that I'm in right now. So once you kind of break free of that physical environment, that can really help. So that's another thing, is just getting out of the physical environment that you're dealing with the anxiety in. If that's a bedroom, and you start to feel overwhelmed, right when you go to bed, you start to feel overwhelmed. Maybe you develop a strategy, a little routine before you go to bed to kind of manage that, like going on a walk right before bed, a 10-minute walk, or listening to some of your favorite music, or taking a hot shower before bed, or taking a cold shower. That's another thing that can kind of break you out of a panic attack, by the way, is putting your hands under cold running water or taking a cold shower. It can kind of shock your body and get you out of that state. So those are just some quick tips. I really want you to take away and drive the point home to challenge your thoughts, challenge these negative thoughts. When these things come up, challenge it out loud. When you're sitting there worried at work or anxious to go into work, like, okay, are we really anxious about this? We've done this for 300 days this year. I've been in this office 300 days. What's another day? Quit worrying, quit stressing. And I know I keep going back to the store example, but I tend to get a lot of anxiety when I go into grocery stores. It's like, so what I've been recently doing when I sit in my truck is like, are you really this big tough guy that's worried about going to buy groceries? Is that what defeats you, Chris? That's what I have to tell myself. Or going to the gym, like you're sitting in the truck, kind of like anxious to get into the gym. Like, are we really worried about going to work out? A privilege that we get to do. I really had to remind myself of this last weekend competing. I didn't have an event that went well for me on day 2 of the competition. And I had to remind myself, is like, what are you doing this for? You're doing this for fun. Challenge these thoughts. Okay, didn't have a good event. On to the next. On to the next one. And the next event went well for me. So I think that's a perfect example. Is I kind of relate that to strongman and a lot of competing stuff, is you're going to have bad days, but it's how you react to them. It's how you stand up against those negative thoughts. That's what really determines you as a person. Not that the fact that you are having those negative thoughts, because that's completely normal. So I think that's where a lot of anxiety comes from too, is when people get these negative thoughts or these anxieties, they immediately think like, what's wrong with me? Nothing wrong with you. But, you do have to stand up for yourself, stand up against your negative thoughts. That's what truly determines you as a person. So I hope these little tips help for you. I know it's not a long video. We'll get into more of these, but I hope you guys have a great day.